The crypto market's taken a bit of a dump today, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about why I think this is a massive potential buying opportunity and why I think this will be very short-lived, and going forward, we'll see massive gains on altcoins. I'm also going to be looking at Bitcoin dominance, and I'm going to be explaining why this is a very pivotal level and why we need to reject at this level on Bitcoin dominance, and why if we do, there's going to be a huge pump on altcoins. So if that sounds interesting, guys, please make sure to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. I upload videos every single day on the channel talking about the latest and the greatest projects. And if you want to see my real-time buy and sell alerts and join a 24/7 active Discord community, check out the link in the description and sign up to the VIP membership. So you can see out of the top 100 right now, basically every single coin is in the red apart from a few. And, you know, if we look at Bitcoin, you can see that we've had a clear rejection based off this, lower high type of rejection point that is forming now. You can see we made lower lows and we've made lower highs. So it's not necessarily the most bullish looking structure on Bitcoin. But what I'm going to argue is that this is going to be short lived and we will be making a move to the upside, probably somewhere between this macro trend line on Bitcoin, which you can see if we move and zoom out here, you can see how long this has been going on for. Since basically 2017, this trend line's been in play. But I also think we could even go a little bit higher than the trend line, maybe on a wick or whatever. But basically, I'm targeting anywhere between 115K to 130K on this next move up based off this period of consolidation. And I personally do believe this consolidation will lead to an upwards breakout. Now, will that happen this week? Will that happen next week? I don't know. It could be any time in the next few months. But one thing I am thinking is that there's a strong probability of a rate cut in September. And markets are generally forward-looking. So I think we could pump leading into the rate cut. And maybe it's a sell the news event. Who knows, right? But usually markets are quite forward-looking. And it really wouldn't surprise me if we start pumping if Powell announces anything about a future rate cut. Now, the S&P 500s are all-time highs, so that is obviously bullish. Markets are going a little bit risk-on again in the past few weeks. And one of the main things I'm looking at right now, which basically determines the whole fate of this market, is essentially BTC.D, Bitcoin dominance. And if we zoom out here, you can see Bitcoin dominance has been in a clear uptrend for the best part of basically 3 years now. And we're at a really crucial point. We're at a fib level, and the fib levels are respected by Bitcoin dominance. You can see here, we got to the golden pocket in November, and we rejected at this fib level. That led to a major pump on altcoins. You guys know, if you're watching the channel, that's where we made a ton of money on coins like Sui. There was a massive drop in Bitcoin dominance. Where did we get that drop? Well, it was at the fib level. We reached our resistance at the fib level. I believe the same thing could happen again at this 786 fib level. We reach a point of resistance, and I'm going to tell you, if we drop down to these levels that we saw back in November, the pump on altcoins is going to be even bigger than what we had back in November, December time. The reason is because Bitcoin got even higher on this increase in Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin's bigger than ever in terms of market cap. So the drawdown you'll see will impact altcoins even better than ever. Now, of course, there's a potential point that I need to make, which is we could just keep going up. That's obviously a possibility. And if we do, the next point of resistance would be up here around 73%, which you can see we kind of hit a couple times already as resistance. But I can't stress this enough. If Bitcoin dominance rejects here, we're going to see a massive pump on altcoins. And the one chart I would be looking at, which I would say is directly inversely correlated to Bitcoin dominance, would be the others chart. And others essentially represents all the coins outside of the top 10. The reason I'm looking at others rather than total 3 is because total 3 is largely skewed by, first of all, stable coins, and second of all, it's largely skewed by coins such as BNB, Solana, and XRP, which I simply don't hold in my portfolio. So it's much more reasonable for me to be charting others than it is to be charting total 3. Now look at the pump we had during that period where Bitcoin dominance absolutely dumped. Now let me see if I can get this on the chart just so we can see here. Let's do a new pane. Okay. And let's see. So hopefully, I'm kind of doing this as I go along here, but hopefully you can see when Bitcoin dominance dumped. So it went from 60% down to 55%. Hopefully you can see that there. And look at what started happening on others during that period of time. Let's go and put a vertical line here when dominance kind of peaked. So it peaked here. And then look at the pump on others. From that point, dominance started dropping. Dominance is this pink line here, which I just showed you on the other chart, right? Where it started dropping massively. Look at this. So dominance went down, obviously, a lot. Not even a lot. I mean, it went down a bit. And look at the pump we had on others. We pumped 130% in a period of, is that 28 days? In a month, guys. Less than a month. 128% pump in less than a month, in a few weeks. If that happens again, it's going to be crazy. Because 128% or whatever that was, that's just the baseline. That's just the expectation of the overall market, right? We're not invested in the overall market. We're invested in the clear winners. We're invested in coins like SUI, which when Bitcoin went up 30-40%, SUI went up 7x or something, right? We're invested in the coins which consistently outperform the rest of the crowd. Okay. SUI, I'm really bullish on. I think that's a good buy right now. I think Aerodrome is also a really, really solid buy right now in this market because I'm very bullish on Base. If you believe that Base is only going to grow in terms of its adoption, Aerodrome is a clear play. Coinbase stock as well has been skyrocketing lately, and Aerodrome is going to be directly integrated within Coinbase. The DEX is going to be directly integrated. So this is a clear buy for me as well. And the final one I'd be stacking today, actually, there's one more after this. The other one I'd be stacking today would be Ondo, which is at 74 cents. And it's just been kind of like a stable coin for a while. The reason I'm so bullish on this is because of this tokenization and RWA narrative, which is brewing in the mainstream right now. Now, it hasn't trickled down to actual crypto price appreciation yet, but I believe it will at some point. Now, Robinhood are making their own chain to tokenize stocks. This is going to be huge. They're building their own layer 2 chain. Even though they are obviously going to be somewhat of a competitor, I guess, to Ondo, you could say, because Ondo have their own tokenization platform, I still think this is going to be overall really, really bullish for the narrative of tokenization and RWA. And therefore, I think Ondo will be a beneficiary of what Robinhood are doing. If you don't know, Ondo have their own tokenization platform, which is, in my opinion, something which has massive, massive prospects in the future. The other coin, which I forgot to mention, is Sei. 27 cents on Sei is a decent buy, actually, in my opinion. It's on Binance. It's on Coinbase. I dropped a buy alert for this just a few weeks ago at 15 cents. So if you followed that, you would have made some nice gains. And, if you want some degen plays on this layer 1, then I'd be looking at potentially Millie as a degen dog meme coin. And then I'd be looking at Seiyan as another degen meme play, just if you want a little bit of a lottery ticket play. So I think Sei is just in the middle or just the beginning, really, of its next major move up. And this is a really nice buy for Sei. So, yeah, basically to summarize, I think the market looks good going forward. It's a bit of a red day today, but those are the days for buying. The S&P 500's in price discovery. That usually leads to markets going a bit risk on. And I've just showed you the huge move that others made the last time Bitcoin rejected at a fib level. Where did Bitcoin dominance reject? Where did it reject? It rejected at the fib level. What a coincidence. Where is Bitcoin dominance right now? It's literally just below this fib level, which it just hit. Potential rejection point here, potential major pump on altcoins, especially when you look at what's going on in the macro, potential trade deals coming out imminently, and also a rate cut in the next potential couple of months. July, maybe September, most likely. Okay. So those are the things I'm tracking in the markets. If you want to see exactly when I'm buying and when I'm selling, go check out my VIP group linked in the description. You can see whenever I'm buying a coin, whenever I'm selling in real time. You would have gotten buy alerts on Say down at 15 cents. You would have gotten buy alerts on Aerodrome down at 39 cents. You would have gotten buy alerts on Sayan, which went on to do a 5x. Virtuals went on to do a 5x as well from our buy alert. These are just in the last few weeks, guys. Last few weeks and last couple of months, we made crazy gains. We've outperformed Bitcoin, and I strongly recommend you get in here if you want to beat the rest of the crowd. We also have a Discord group, which is active all the time. People are always sharing alpha. Even while I'm doing this this stream, this video right now, you can see people in here are obviously commenting, talking about the market, sharing charts, sharing information about the economy. It's an absolute no-brainer, guys, to join up if you can afford it. Also, book a call with one of my crypto consultants if you're interested. They're going to go through a document which I've created, which is highly valuable, which goes through my personal exit strategy and how I'd be managing a portfolio right now in these current market conditions. Check it all out. Obviously, it's down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.